Catherine Martin, founder of myQuietTime Ministries. And every day I have the privilege of meeting alone with the one who actually created me, who made the world. His name is Jesus, and He is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And this is myQuietTime. One of the things I wrestle with is disappointment, when things don't go the way I want or the way I have hoped. And the disappointment can be even greater if things happen that are seemingly the worst case scenario. I mean, sometimes, don't you agree? If it can happen, it does. And that can become a great source of frustration, and you can fall into a pattern of the 3 big Ds: disappointment, discouragement, and despair. Let me tell you, those big Ds are very painful. Today, I want to give you some encouraging words from Jeremiah, who has been known as the weeping prophet. If anyone knew what it was to have a life filled with unexpected and sometimes disastrous happenings, it was Jeremiah. And remember, Jeremiah was a great servant of God, called by Him to be His prophet, His spokesman in a very difficult time in the history of the people of God. When Jeremiah heard from God what was going to happen to God's people because of their disobedience and idolatry, he was devastated. But listen to his response in Jeremiah 10, verse 19. Woe to me because of my injury. My wound is incurable. But I said, truly, this is a sickness, and I must bear it. Do you hear the faint but firm and steadfast trust of God in the midst of a failing, hurting heart? 4 words that will help you through a disappointment. I must bear it. There is a faith and acceptance and, yes, even hope in these words from Jeremiah. I love what Warren Wiersbe says about this in his book. The bumps are what you climb on. Don't you love that title? He says Jeremiah did not blame God or other people. He did not try to pass the buck. He did not fight circumstances and try to change God's mind. He accepted by faith the burden of his grief, and he trusted God to work out His perfect will. There is a basic law in this universe that says, fight the will of God and it will break you. Accept the will of God and it will make you. These are such good words for you today if you are battling disappointments in your life. Maybe things have not even remotely gone the way you thought or hoped. Friend, please know that I totally understand. Of course, I'm not in your shoes, so I'm not enduring the disappointment you are facing. But I have some huge disappointments I've experienced over the last number of years, and they've been very painful for me. And that's why I find encouragement in Jeremiah 10, verse 19. What I hear in his words is a fantastic trust in the sovereign hand of God in his life. To hear his I must bear it helps me to say also, I must bear it. In these words, I sense a belief that God is working out His plan and purpose. Warren Wiersbe says to yield to God's will and let Him heal your broken heart and fulfill His desires. I wonder if you will do exactly that today. Yield to God and see what He does in your heart. Wiersbe goes on to say that God builds character in the disappointments of life. And he says that disappointments are not only an opportunity for maturity, but also for ministry. Look at the ministry of Jeremiah in our lives because of his faithfulness to God. Wiersbe says that when you accept disappointments, trust God, and yield to Him, you leave something behind to help others in the battles of life. Oh, may we trust our God and yield to Him today, even in the midst of a great disappointment. I truly believe that God can and will, in the midst of your great disappointment, use it for His glory and pour out an ocean full of blessing in your life. Lord, thank You for the encouraging example of Jeremiah. showing us how to trust and yield in the midst of great disappointments. Lord, will you pour out your mercy and blessing in our lives today? And that's my quiet time for this week. God bless you as you continue on in the great adventure of knowing Him.